So now that we've read our story of the week, Gilberto and the Wind, I have some questions for you guys. The first question that I have is about the pinwheel that Gilberto plays with. So let's find that part in our story. Here it is. Do you guys remember how the wind makes the pinwheel move? It has to blow air through it in order to make it spin around. Very good. Now I want to go to the part of our story where Gilberto was upset. Do you guys remember when that was? Let's see. Ah, here we are. So why does Gilberto tell the wind, "I don't like you today"? That's right, the wind wouldn't fly his kite. And that made him upset. He was really looking forward to having fun with his toy. Now let's go back. To this part of our story, where Gilberto is trying to take a ride on the pasture gate. Do you guys remember what made the gate squeak and cry? In our story, it tells us that the wind was opening and shutting the gate. So it would blow the gate open and then blow it shut. So that is what's making it squeak. It must have a squeaky hinge on it, and so that's why it's going squeaking like that, kind of like a squeaky door. All right, my last question for you guys is, how do you think Gilberto felt for most of the story about the wind? So we have to think about the story as a whole, okay? Think about all the different ways that Gilberto felt about his friend the wind. We know that Gilberto was upset when the wind took away his balloon, because we would feel upset if our balloon got stuck in a tree, right guys? And he was probably a little upset when the wind broke his umbrella. And here, the wind wouldn't give him a ride on the gate. So he was probably feeling a little disappointed about that too. Here they had a race together. So he might have felt like he was having a fun time here. He might have enjoyed this race, even though he said that the wind always won the race because it was faster than him. We already talked about this part and about how he was probably disappointed and sad, or even a little angry that the wind wouldn't help him fly his kite, right guys? Now this is a part that he enjoyed, right? This is where the wind actually helped drop apples down to him. So he probably liked that. That was probably something that made him happy. And playing with his sailboat probably made him happy too. Same for the pinwheel. And the balloons would be a lot of fun too, right? I mean the bubbles. The bubbles would be a lot of fun too, right? Here, he's like, ugh, because he has that dirt in his eyes, but he also is probably feeling frustrated because he had worked so hard to rake up those leaves into a big pile, and then the wind comes along and messes it all up. And we already said at the end of our story, Gilberto is feeling a little scared of the wind. So what do you guys think? Do you think that he had a lot of fun with the wind? Or do you think that he kind of was a little upset with the wind? I think it's kind of even between those two. I think the beginning of the story, he was showing all the things that made him upset about the wind. Then towards the middle of the story, he's talking about the things that he enjoys doing with the wind. Then at the end, he talks about how it can even be a little scary. But at the end, he comes back and he says sometimes he misses the wind when it's gone. Great job answering those questions, boys and girls.